What's up, guys? Welcome to my trade review on SQBG. Today is a bit of a frustrating day, red day for me. Not much to say. It was a small red day, so could have been way worse. But they don't feel good. So you take the hits and you move on. And for me, doing these reviews always helps me. Looking back and realizing my mistakes, but also hopefully you guys will have an opportunity to learn from my mistakes as well. So let's jump into it and just talk about a couple things. Support, resistance, my entry, which I'll get to in a little bit, and then my stop loss in relation to my entry, and then we'll talk about my profit targets where we'll have mapped off here in a sec. So first things first, let's go ahead and take a look at my support and resistance areas here. The first one that I'm going to talk about is down here at this $5.13. Let's just talk about SQBG really quick. This is a micro cap stock. They have a 1.10 million share float, so this thing just whips around incredibly fast. So not having a strategy or a plan together in place on a stock like this, you're just asking for trouble. Matter of fact, like I've mentioned in my previous videos, you really need to have a strategy together for every stock you get into. If you don't, you're kind of just going in blind, and that's really not a good way to trade. So I've been there, I've done that. So learn from my mistakes, and hopefully you'll become a better trader by seeing some of the good and the bad. So let's talk about this 513. Yesterday, SQBG filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy, hence this massive gap down here. So mark off the close, because that's always an important level, and the previous day's high. So if you look at the previous day's high at the $6.77 area here, it lines up quite nicely with these previous this pivot support area here from back in mid to late May. This is about a 2-week period where the stock held that level nicely. Remember, guys, these are just areas. It's not a perfect science, so keep that in mind here. You will see stocks kind of touch this or maybe not quite touch this, but these are just areas that are kind of roundabout guesses in terms of what I'm seeing on the chart. And there's obviously a correlation to what you're seeing back here in the history as well. Like this area was a resistance area from back in August of this would be 2020, so last year. So resistance. This $5.13 area was support. We broke down through that in October, then back up. So as you could see by this stock, this is not the kind of stock you want to buy and hold. It does make consistent moves up, but this volume is just horrendously spotty. It literally trades nothing, and then all of a sudden, wham, you get these crazy volume spikes. So this is purely a day trading chart, in my opinion. You may argue with that, but that's each person's entitled to their own opinion based on their experiences. But for me personally, I would not per se invest in a company like this. That being said, let's talk about some more resistance levels here. This $8.30 area would be a resistance level, which was a support level back in what was this, mid-June, for about 2.5, 3-week period here. Bounced off that, got a crazy move. I think a bunch of people in our trading group did trade SQBG on this day. Got this exhaustion gap and this rejection here at this resistance level. It's no wonder, we trade in channels, so it's no wonder that this $28.42 level was an area of resistance. Traders are looking back, seeing this previous pivot top here, thinking to themselves that's a good area to short, and sure enough, it was. So let's dive into a couple of my daily indicators. So guys, we're looking at a daily chart here. Each one of these candles represents a single day of price trading action. So the first indicator that you're going to see on my chart here is this 100-day moving average. Right below that, I've got my 200-day moving average, and below that, I have my 50-day. And then this light blue line here is my exponential 8-day moving average. This is a lagging indicator, but this is a momentum indicator. If the stock has little to no volume, this EMA really doesn't actually come into play at all because there's no volume. So there's really, this is helpful to help determine movement and where, if we're going to the upside or to the downside, and this acts as a support and resistance level. Trading above that, we're bullish. You want to look to see that EMA become support, and then trading below that, we are bearish, and we're going to see that become resistance. As you can see here is a great example. Came up through it, bounced off it for a few days, then broke through it, and then all of a sudden it became resistance. And it's really evident in the intraday chart. So those are my daily chart metrics. Those are my daily chart indicators. And so we have these levels now. So keep those in mind. Nothing's going to change when I move myself into my intraday chart. One thing I do want to for you to take notice to is that for my intraday technical indicators, I do not use these simple moving averages intraday. You will see them on my intraday charts, and they are there purely based on the fact that I do switch between time frames rather quickly throughout the day on various charts, and I do want to see those there quickly. I don't have to fiddle around and pull them out, and mess with my charts while I'm trading. So if a stock does bounce off these particular levels intraday, it's more coincidental than anything. I do not rely on those. Maybe on a slightly longer time frame, the 1 hour or the 4 hour, they might come more into play, but not on a 3-minute chart. And that is primarily what I do use on my intraday charting. I use multiple time frames. I use the 3-minute, the 5-minute, the 15, 30. Sometimes the hourly, sometimes the 4-hour, and of course the daily chart. So let's just jump into this price action from the morning and just take a look and see what occurred here. This thing did halt a few times throughout the morning session. It halted once down here, just around that $5.75 area, and then again up here at this, what is that? $7.87 area. With halts, as I've actually mentioned in my previous reviews, these do come into play. It's really important that you do pay attention to those halt prices. On my charts, fortunately, I can see those halts as these dashes here. I know on other platforms you're not able to see that, but just when it does happen, do mark it off. So I'll usually throw a line across it just like that so that it's there and I do remember. Sometimes I'll actually make this line thicker too just so it stands out, because those really do come into play. So we did get this red to green move in the morning where we had this little gap down and we broke up through yesterday's close up into this resistance level at $5.67, which kind of lined up with the kind of lows around yesterday. Not much to say there. I personally wouldn't have traded it, especially the first 15 to 20 minutes of the day. I don't trade that, as all momentum traders. Getting in, taking profits. In this case, maybe people who were stuck in this big gap down saw this little move up and just wanted to get out of this thing as quickly as possible. So, in my opinion, that's probably what happened here, and that's why that halt happened. The nice thing about the halt is it does give you a chance to put a game play together. And set a plan. So usually what I'll do first thing, as a stock makes its big move up, is I'll pull out my Fibonacci levels and start with retracement, so I understand what areas the stock can pull back into. And if you don't know how to use Fibonacci's, there are lessons out there. Maybe on one of my future reviews I'll talk about some of my technical indicators in more depth. When you have a gap down, in this case where the low of the day is, we open below yesterday's close, you want to start your Fibonacci's from the low of the day and pull those up to the intraday high. So in this case, we're going to pull it up to this halt price here. Coming out of the halt, we got this massive gap up, tons of profit taking and a price rejection up at this level of around the $6.50 area here, which does coincidentally line up with this previous halt price from yesterday. So these do come into play. So get that halt up, we get that pullback, snap back down into the VWAP and the trade line. So at that point, what I usually do is not usually, what I always do is pull my Fibonacci's up to the next high and look for more clues. So, as this, I don't, a couple things. I'll never buy a stock moving into a resistance area. That is a very aggressive technique. That is a very aggressive style of trading, and that is not my style. I'm a very traditional conservative trader, so I'm looking for pullbacks into support. I will never ever buy into resistance levels because you just don't know if they're going to break or not. Sometimes they can head fake you, snap up right through them, and then come right back down, and you're caught buying at that high. So in this case, waiting it out, seeing how this stock chart plays out, we do get this a couple things that happen here. If you take notice here, if I'll zoom in, my 38.2 Fibonacci level lines up perfectly with VWAP, which is this red line here. Lots of VWAP traders, so lots of guys who are using that technical indicators become self-fulfilling prophecies. The next thing that I'm seeing lining up is one of my favorite setups where the 8-day EMA crosses up and over the VWAP, so VWAP trade line cross. And that also lines up with the 38.2 Fibonacci. So now we have 3 technical indicators lining up on the chart here at this particular price area of just under $6. The next thing that takes place here is we break through VWAP, we get this really nice increase in volume. So there's a lot of volume coming into this stock here. So I think a lot of traders realizing we didn't really break down through VWAP and then retest these lows. We actually started making a move to the upside. So this would have been a nice entry here. Again, I didn't get any of this morning action. I was watching some other stuff and really just kind of sitting on my hands throughout the morning session. So could have taken an entry here, maybe taken a little profit off before this high of day here, and then more profits as you get through this extension and through this resistance level. And another thing to keep in mind too, as we broke through this resistance level, we got a really nice increase in volume, as you can see here. This volume is just increasing on each subsequent candle. So at this point, the stock halts again at this level here, which is around $7.87. So again, pull your Fibonacci up to that intraday high, to this halt price. Wait for it. Do not chase off the halt. You want to be looking for pullbacks, not continuation, to start buying. Always ask yourself, if I was in the stock right now, like if I was in the stock before this halt happened, what would I be doing when this stock came out of the halt? Would I be selling? Would I be buying? Most likely you would be selling. So that being said, the continuation, as we came out of the halt, we got this really nasty red candle, this pullback back into the trade line, back into VWAP, and a retest. What do we notice as the stock makes its pullback? Well, we're pulling back into VWAP, which also lines up with the 38.2 Fibonacci level. So this is really, these 3 indicators are just continually following each other as the stock makes its move up. So don't forget, we have this $8.30 resistance level in front of us. So, another potential place to get long could have been right here on this candle or on this candle, using a stop loss below the VWAP, maybe below this low. So take an entry here at 707 and then position yourself correctly so that you can risk down to that, this $5 and let's say 40-cent area. Just give yourself a little buffer. This stock is moving so fast, you're going to have tons of slippage. You're probably going to want to market order in and out of this thing because it's moving so fast, unless you're setting limit orders on the way up. I wouldn't set a limit order on the way down. It's a little dangerous. So that being said, we get a nice continuation, and again, this pullback here being on lower volume, right down here, we just see this low volume, and then we get this high volume push right up, and then that high volume push right up to this resistance level. Let's pull this chart along a little bit. We have this consolidation period where we're just kind of sitting, hugging on this trade line. And we get this nice breakthrough again to test this $9.30 high, which, again, going back to the daily chart, is right here at this trade line. So is this trade line going to become a rejection area, or is it going to become, a potential breakthrough and a support level? You don't know until you get there, and that is why you want to be taking profits into the momentum, not getting long up here hoping that we break through this level. So back to the intraday charts. And we got rejected, as you can see here. That was a huge move for the stock to make through the entire morning and into the lunchtime session. Let's measure that out here in total. Over a 2-hour period, 96.5% gains, or 96.5% move. That is massive move. So, these things need to make their move up and then cool off. And then really what you want to see on that cool off period is just a low volume consolidation through, in this case, lunchtime, which is really what we got. We did get this, low volume consolidation. We were kind of bouncing around VWAP. I probably, definitely would not have taken an entry on this thing through the lunchtime period. That's just not how I trade. I want to trade like who's trading during these 2 hours? Not too like 50% less, if not more, of the traders that have eyes on this thing through the morning session are going to be trading this thing actively through the afternoon. So best thing to do through that lunchtime period is to just sit on your hands and wait for the right setup to kind of come along and show its face. So that's kind of what I did. Coming out of lunch, some people in chat started calling this stock out, so I really had a good look at it. And a couple of things that jumped out to me were we started to actually create this nice flag formation. So I'm going to draw my trend line from there, and I'm going to draw my trend line from here. So we get this pullback in this consolidation up this trend line level here. So I pulled from this low, pivot low, to this consolidation here, and then a couple of touch points. We had about 3 touch points on this downtrend resistance line, which created this wide-ranging flag, but came to an inflection point as we came out of lunch. And then as we came out of lunch, we got this little pop of volume here through the VWAP, and then broke this downtrend resistance line on an increase in volume. That's always a good sign. This VWAP level was an area of resistance, and then right above it we had this $8.30 level of resistance. So if you got long down here, what are you going to do when you get to VWAP? Are you going to be taking profits? Are you going to be taking an entry? Most people are going to be taking profits because we don't know if we're actually going to get through the VWAP. But in this case, we did, and we did come up to test this $8.30 area with a little bit of a rejection. On that rejection was a low volume pullback into the VWAP. So let's just pull this Fibonacci back up here, and then if you'll notice, the 38.2 Fibonacci level then comes into play yet again. Support, and which coincides and lines up perfectly with the VWAP. So this can give you the confidence that this is a nice area of support. We got the trade line there, we got this support level of VWAP, we got the 38.2 Fib. We have this downtrend resistance line through this consolidation, and then what happens? We get through this level on a nice increase in volume. So again, a great sign that we are heading in an upwards direction. So we got this breakthrough, this consolidation. So I went ahead and got long right here at $8.45 inside this flag on this candle right here. Right in this area is where I got long, right there. So looking at a stop loss area so it was right on this candle. And then my stop loss would have been right here, just below this tail of this hammer candle here at $8.10. That was my stop loss area. I could have risked it down to VWAP, but I felt like if we breached and broke this pattern of this nice uptrend, I thought that was it for me. So we got long, got this breakout of the flag on another increase in volume right here. A beautiful thing to see. That is exactly what you want to see as you break out of a flag formation. So 2 flags broken on nice increases of volume. And I'd actually set a limit profit take order, a limit order up here at $9.25, which was just in front of this previous high of day. We came up and just kissed it, but I did not get a fill here. The high of this candle was $9.20, and then the high of this candle was $9.14. So I canceled that and then readjusted my take profit down to $9.20, but we just never came up to get back up into that level. What I was seeing was another flag forming. If I pull out my trend lines here, that was the flag I was seeing. So hoping to see another increase in volume as we break up and out of this flag to get up to this resistance level. But it just didn't happen. We went the other way. We broke down and out of the flag or wedge or whatever you want to call it. And then, right down into my stop loss area. The low of this candle was $8.11. So I was pretty much right there. I didn't stop out on this candle. But notice this high rejection volume. So that's one clue that let's talk about clues here. Is this move over? High rejection volume candle, nasty rejection candle. So that's the first clue. The second clue, if we look down at the MACD, we get this cross and curl down and over to the bearish side. that is also an indication of momentum not going any further, and we're getting a change in direction. And then also this accumulation distribution started to trend back down. So, on the way up, we did have this nice uptrend, and then we have this downtrend right here. So just didn't happen for me here. So I stuck to my stop loss, was a 5%, just over a 5% loss on the day. Really not the worst trade in the world. It's actually, in my opinion, a good trade. And then I stuck to my plan, and I had a really nice entry. And that's just the name of the game. Now, those are the breaks when it comes to trading, and unfortunately, things just don't work out the way you want them to always, and that's okay. And if you stick to your plan and you stick to your stop loss, you'll be around to fight another day rather than holding this, through, the breach of VWAP and then down to this level here. I just didn't see any value in doing that. I knew this was going to be kind of a key area, and it really was. If we look at this level here and this level here, it really just did come into play. So, unfortunately, it didn't work out for me today, but, small red day and it'll be all right. I will be back again tomorrow to battle the hedge funds and the rest of the traders out there. So, hope you guys enjoyed this lesson, and stick around for some future lessons. Hopefully, I'll be able to provide you guys with some quality content that you'll find useful in your trading progression. Thanks for sticking around, and enjoy yourselves. Have a great night, and I'll see you guys on the next one.